Go ahead. You hated this. You had a reaction to this.
Oh, I just think it is just an absolute athlete in denial. What does Aaron Rodgers think he brings to the table? Because right now in 2024, if you were to be like, hey, list the things Aaron Rodgers brings to the table for a team next year, I have a whole bunch of the things I know are more in the con category than pro category.
Did you make a list?
No, I'm not.
I thought you were about to make a list.
I'm not even going to do that. No, I'm not even going to do that because I don't. Sometimes Aaron's media avails enrage me. This one, not only did I get mad, I kind of felt bad. Like he did seem genuine, he did seem sincere, and he seemed to be in denial. If you remove all of the leadership off the field, Egypt, documentary, ayahuasca, remove all that stuff. As a player, the last 3 years that football's been played, what he's been is a markedly below average quarterback who's going to be 42 next year. So I thought it was a fair question, and I didn't think the reporter needed to all of a sudden apologize mid-question by being like, I know it's kind of ridiculous. It's not ridiculous.
No. What's ridiculous is what Rodgers said.
That's what I thought. And I'm not trying to be mean here.
No. Look, we see this all the time. Jeff Van Gundy, I covered the Knicks when he coached them. He used to always say the toughest thing is coaching that aging superstar. Because they don't see it. And maybe just guys that aren't even superstars. It's hard. Like, Aaron clearly thinks he's still got it in him. And I guess I understand that when you've been that great, but he doesn't. And so you're right. He's in denial. And and you were down on the Jets and you ended up being right about them. But I also think you'll admit, right now, they got two very good receivers. You got two good running backs. According to Pro Football Focus, which I like to quote, they got the 13th best offensive line according to Pro Football Focus. And the defense at one point was good. Mm-hmm. But then you got that coach. The coach was fired for whatever reason. And so this isn't a horrible situation if he still was Aaron Rodgers that we all, knew from years ago. So,
look, to your point, both of your points, like it is challenging for a player who's had the success that Aaron has had or any form of success to come to grips with, I'm losing a step. I'm not the same. You are you look at me because I've told a story about a guy, I'm on the field running a route and the defensive back, I'm not going to even say his name because it makes it even worse. The defensive back tells me, oh man, you done lost a step. You're not as fast as you used to be. And until he said that, it never crossed my mind.
It never crossed your mind?
It never crossed my mind. But the moment he said it, and now I'm running routes and I'm trying to create the separation that I once did, and I'm still getting separation, but it never compared any longer to what I once did. And from that moment on, it was like, I'm battling this idea of maybe he's right. Like, seriously, it's challenging because the last thing for players, the last thing that goes is your mind. Like he's still sharp. I believe he's a brain, but he just physically can't keep up with how sharp his mind is. And so to say, I think it's ridiculous. Like he said it with all sincerity. He truly thinks it's just dumbfounded. And it's like, but the numbers don't lie. When you look at this team from last year, and I'm not trying to knock what he hasn't been able to do, but if we look at these numbers with the Jets, like points per game, and sometimes we put these stats up here and we can curate them to look good.
These are
I didn't care what the number, I just wanted you to see points per game. Last year they were 29th. This year they're 26th. Mind you, that was Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
This is Aaron Rodgers. Last year in total yards per game, 31st. They're still 31st. Yards per play, 31st. You improved them to 27th. Is that an improvement for a guy who thinks that it's ridiculous?
And they're not going to win 7 games. So.
No.
Sorry, so I'll be glass half full Aaron Rodgers guy. Because he has shown flashes, and I get that every sort of aging veteran can show flashes, but it's the consistency that you miss. And I also think he's a little bit hurt. If he was determined to come back next year, Do you think, because he can still, it feels like his arm, do you think his arm is dead?
No,
the decision making is
accuracy
okay?
isn't what
The
it is.
mobility, like what
You're
could
not
he
as
get better
accurate
at?
Here's my issue, and I don't want to not answer your question,
No, it's okay.
but any player in the league, I mean this, receiver, quarterback, if you give them an extended amount of opportunity, they're gonna all show flashes.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna show flashes, and you'll have moments where you're like, man, that was great.
Yeah, I look
that
at
looked
it,
good.
and I look at the some of the throws stuff the same way as if before an NBA playoff game you saw Reggie Miller shooting around. You'd be like,
He probably
man,
Yeah.
that guy. Like, I wonder if he could give you 13 off the bench. But it's because, guess what? He'll always be able to shoot.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He might not be able to
Exactly.
move or commentate a game, but he can shoot. And so there is a level with Aaron where he's always going to be able to throw. When I've gone after Aaron, it's for being disingenuous. This did not feel disingenuous. It felt delusional. And one of the things, if you've watched as many Aaron Rodgers press avails or interviews as I have this year, he was asked what went wrong in this game. Because they had scored 21 quick and then it got away from him. And he took accountability first and foremost. He was like, well, I missed a throw and threw a pick six. And then he went through the laundry list of the other things. And he mentions MEs a lot. He's like, we had a few MEs, which means mental errors. And the thing that I wonder, if it hasn't clicked for him yet, is this. Man, the Packers had just as many mental errors when you were winning MVPs. But your talent overcame it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not that this team all of a sudden is just all running the
He's a perfect. Like,
nobody
we had a
ever
penalty.
Nobody ever missed a red line like Mike Williams did. Nobody had lined up wrong. But once upon a time, you were able to do, sorry to invoke Mahomes, what Mahomes did on the game-winning play of the Super Bowl 2 years ago, which is, oh, you're lined up in the wrong spot? I'll tell you what to do and throw you the touchdown anyway, Sky Moore. Like that's, and he just, I don't think it's clicked for him yet that he can't overcome the way he once did. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.